Welcome to SUPERA. SUPERA is the weekly or bi-weekly podcast with Castro Realty Group of Nebraska Realty. My name is Ricardo Castro. I'm a realtor for the last 22 years, representing buyers, sellers, investors, people building properties, and also landlords. Today, I have an investor with me, a local investor whose story of life is pretty unique for many other people in locally. He can tell us the goods and the bads and the challenges and the good experiences that he went through in the last few years in his journey as a real estate investor. Welcome, José Peña, with us here.
Thank you, Ricardo, for the invite. I really appreciate it. It's an honor to be here with you. I've seen you, multiple times, so it's always good to see you.
Thank you. Jose trusted our business a few years ago when he was starting his journey, but he's been learning. I remember seeing Jose. Jose asked me to be to see me on a Sunday. I remember because he had I guess it was a Monday to Saturday job. He worked a lot. He had responsibilities. We took the time. He had many questions, and I really enjoy and like when people have questions. I get concerned when people decide to invest. At the spot, or maybe I'm a old-fashioned in that aspect, but I prefer them to be sure because otherwise I don't think I'm doing my job properly.
Gotcha.
And I think you guys have to have all the options and all the pros and cons before going forward. But Jose, tell us, you are a father of a baby, a software engineer who decided to leave the comfort zone of your 8 to 5 work as an engineer to become an investor. Could you tell us that transition, please?
Yeah, for sure. It was, as a software engineer, I was doing a lot of professional development, right? Like I was in my team, luckily, a great group of engineers. We pushed each other. And by reading one of those books, the 4-hour work week is the book that triggered it. I remember reading that book and thinking, how does this guy get to work 4 hours a week, and enjoy all the other aspects of traveling, the family, and all the other stuff, right? So I started, by listening to that book, I started researching, like, what are the other possibilities that I could be doing out there instead of just my regular 8 to 5, right? I didn't have at that point, like, the mentality that I got to figure something to quit my job. It was more like an added on, like a plug-in, onto my software engineering job. But I got to the decision that I was going to start with real estate. I looked at other possibilities, but with real estate, I've mentioned this before, you have more control of the end result. You're able to do the value add and increase that, the value of a house within, a couple of months, just by putting your own knowledge, efforts into a house, sweat equity. So that to me seemed very beneficial and just comfortable to be able to do and have control of the whole asset. And I did that in parallel with software engineering for about 2 years, 3 years, and we accumulated a small rental portfolio because I've always liked the rental side of things.
Okay.
Just on my mind has always been the generational wealth. We come from different backgrounds. I was raised in Mexico till I was 12. So I just wanted to make sure that me, my kid, or kids, or everybody around me could benefit from the investments of today in the future, right? So we did that, and then eventually we got to the point where we had some investments, and I consulted with my wife. You know what they say, happy wife, happy life. I consulted with my wife. She gave me the thumbs up. I cut my salary in half, and then I jumped headfirst into this stuff, right? I already had the proof of concept. We already had done multiple properties. So I'm like, okay, if I can do this much with just 5 hours after work, how much can I do if I can have 10 hours a day on real estate? And I just saw the potential. There's no ceiling with real estate. It's an infinite possibilities. So yeah, that was the process in my mind to get to the point of going full time with real estate.
In what I'm hearing here, you found more control over your investments, over your future, and at the same time, more security on the end result.
Right.
We were talking off cameras, the different reasons people decide to jump into real estate. Uh, in my case, I was telling you, I was thinking about my retirement and thinking about how I was going to pay college for my daughters when the time comes. And in my case, also, I did flip properties as well as you in
Hmm.
the past, and I enjoyed it. I really liked it. I really like to see a product from A to Z, how it goes. Is my own design, my own mind, with the help of contractor, of course, and
Hmm.
advice and suggestions. But at the same time, the generational wealth aspect is what brings me back to the rental properties again.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about, or have you invested into short-term or mid-term rental properties?
So yeah, we do pretty much a whole. Well, I wouldn't say all of the real estate related stuff, right? But we do long term rentals, mid terms, short terms, and yeah, it's been good. It's been good learning both sides of it all, right? Well, not just both sides, but a whole bunch of stuff related to real estate because we've done flipping as well. We try to do maybe 10 to 20 a year on the flipping side of things, but I try to hold as much as possible. Try to hold as much as possible. I do the other stuff mostly, to transactional money. The cash machine is what they call it. Some people call it. So that way we can keep our lifestyle while still building a lot of assets and having those the rental income. I don't fully rely on rental income. I try to take some from the flipping and some from the rental.
Okay, okay. So basically, it's a pot that it's you're making decisions based on the current situation in many cases.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
And it's always a teamwork. Hopefully, our people realize about that. If you're married, it's good. I mean, it's to be synced with the spouse,
yeah.
because one thing that you and I did, because I didn't tell you that, but it's kind of the same case. My wife kept her full-time job, so when I became a self-employed person, I
Mm-hmm.
could keep my or have my insurance policy going and some of the benefits through her. But in my case, also because the kids were going to arrive. But
Mm-hmm.
I know people who both became self-employed, and also but they made a plan in advance in order to see how they were going to have an insurance policy in the future, a health insurance policy. So
Mm-hmm.
it's always a plan, and we suggest to talk to Jose about local experiences, but also talk about create a team, right? We advise you have contractors that you trust. If you want to own rental properties, to have an attorney, sit down with
Right.
real estate attorneys, accountants, people who know numbers, right?
Right.
Not only to do operations, to understand how to maximize the benefits that the IRS or Nebraska could uh, offer to rental to
Right.
landlords, right?
Yeah. It's what they call your all-star team. A lawyer, a realtor, an accountant. You gotta have the right people on your team, right? Because whenever stuff happens, you need to be able to rely on someone, right, with a specific knowledge on the specific issue that you're encountering, right? So locally, we have a lot of resources. I say we are lucky to be in the Omaha market because a lot of people are willing to share. I haven't heard the same stories in other
States.
states or
Yeah.
cities, right? A lot of people are like, keeping stuff close to their chest. But locally, people have been great. You guys, there's local meetups in town that have been extremely helpful for me. I feel like if I wasn't part of that community, I wouldn't have been able to grow as much as I have up to this point.
One thing that I like also, and that's one of the good things that we came from Miami 24 years ago, and it was a day and night about the ethics and the friendship, or I don't know, the windows and doors that can be open here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's things like what I'm telling you. I mean, I'm sure because you did it in the past, myself too, or anyone. If you want to sit down with each of us with a coffee and talk about this, we do it. I mean, it's and same thing happened to us. We called people, they answer, they met with us, we learn, or
Mm-hmm.
and without any commitment on any business commitment for the future. We
Right.
don't find that in many other places.
Yeah. No, it's a pretty good community to be a part of, and I mean, we don't have those big barriers of entry like California, San Diego, San Francisco, Miami, where the purchase price is just astronomical, right? Here, I think anybody, if they really spent, a couple of hours a week just studying real estate, I think anybody here could have a retirement, a great retirement, and just like you mentioned, well, like the stuff that you're doing, right? I tell people like, don't start thinking like, you can start thinking big, right? Because you have to have big scary goals, because that way you get pushed. But just try to start with one. Start with one. You got to start somewhere. So start with one. If you can do one a year, that's great. If your intent is not to leave your job and not to go, full throttle with this or head first, just one a year. It's a great investment. In 10 years, you have 10 properties. One of them will be halfway paid off, maybe in 10 years.
Totally.
So it's a great 401k option, and that's something that is not like, it doesn't. There's a lot of juice on that, right? Like, you get your rental income, then in the future you can use it to lend money. There's a lot of ways you can use real estate.
It's a financial tool. When we were talking about equity before,
Mm-hmm.
it's basically money that you have. It's like the way I see it is like a savings account that I have there, that in the case of an emergency I can use it, or in case of a non-emergency, actually in case of there's a good property showing up that I don't want to let it go, that's where the money comes from in many occasions. So it's even for personal issues or family issues. And
Right.
many years ago, about 13 years ago, I actually put my hands in some of lines of credit that came out of my home equity, my equity in the properties, and
Right.
in order for me to pay my bills for a few months.
Yeah. Yeah. No, equity can be a great financial tool, and it can just expedite the process. If you want to, you have goals and you want to get there, you can use the equity to get there, right? And I use my own equity on my personal home to start. That's one of the, I think, tools that people don't realize that they could use to start. But
Exactly.
that's when people tell me, how do I start, my first question is, do you own a home? Because then you might have equity, right? And I am actually meeting with some friends on Saturday, that one of them, because of our conversations, like, he's got a home equity line of credit now. So he's got, his hands on the trigger. If something comes up, he can actually take action. That's the main thing, right? Like, if you don't have those steps or those actions that you need beforehand, you can't take that leap. You can't grab onto that opportunity, right? Because if you're not prepared for it, some people call it luck, but you have to be prepared for it, right?
And you have to look for the luck. I mean, the luck is not
Yeah,
going to find you most of the times, right? You have to be in the right place at the right time and
yeah,
prepared.
and prepared. Yeah,
And prepared. So get prepared. If the idea is coming to your mind and you're thinking, oh man, I should have an investment property, I should have some income coming on the side. Well, get prepared. Sit down with a bank, see if you have some equity or how you can build equity in your own property. In my own case, my first investment was a biggest investment that I'd even expected. I purchased a house 2 years later. Uh, I was looking for an office for my business. I was renting a small office. My business was myself, and and then the rents. I realized the rents, monthly rent, were expensive, so I ended up buying a building. The building was a mortuary building, which I converted into an office building. But how I was able to get into that building because of the equity that I built only in 2 years in the house. That was our first house.
There you go.
So in other words, at the time, of course, I was ready to face those kind of challenges that maybe at this time not, but because of my age now. But who knows? I mean, it's not even because of my age, because I always gonna recommend people check who you are at this specific spot or time of your life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's a huge, amazing investment that is knocking your door, but maybe it's not the right time for you. But don't feel bad. I mean, you have to be realistic, sincere with you, because you have to manage that investment.
Yeah, and you have to be able to say no to some things, right? So it's not a bad thing. It's just, instead of I can't do that, is how can I do that? You know, how can I position myself to be able to do that in the future, if you're not able to do that right now? So I always take a look at that stuff. You know, is how can I get to the point where I am investing in bigger assets? So we're working towards that. And if the opportunity knocks, hopefully I'm ready at that point, with all the previous experience that I've had with rentals. And a lot of people to me are like, they come over and they're like, Jose, I don't really want to do rentals because I don't want to be dealing with tenants. And I'm like, well, it seems like you're just looking for a cash machine flips. And that's not bad. It's a good investment too,
Totally.
It's whatever your goal is at that point. So whenever I talk with people as well, I ask them like, what's your intent? Are you trying to leave your W-2? Are you trying to build generational wealth? What is your goal here? And for a lot of people, it's different.
When we get people in our office say, "Yeah, I want to invest in real estate. What do you want to do? Buy, purchase properties to put it in the market for rental, as rental purposes, or you want to flip? Whatever comes first, whatever is more important." No, you should let's work together in order to get to a point that you actually decide which of those two, because those are two different businesses. Two different businesses. One is going to generate wealth, as we were been talking in the last few minutes. But yes, you have to invest some of your time, or you have to have the apparatus, the mechanism, the system in order to control and supervise that investment, right? If you want to flip, or you have to have the right person, the right people to work quickly, because the longest you take that project, you keep spending money.
Yeah, you're losing money with time.
So it depends on the goals. You define your goals. Jose, anything else you'd like to share with our public here?
I just want to make sure, like, when I tell people about real estate, I'm very passionate about it. It's what I do 24/7. My wife makes me shut it down at some points, which is fine, and it's good for me. But it's just to take action. People see this as a big, huge mountain to climb. It's what they say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Find those small actionable items that can get you prepared to take that action whenever an opportunity comes, right? So break it down, problem solving, break down the problems to be able to put them into bite sizes, so you can hit the ground running and not become the victim of analysis paralysis, because a lot of people are there. So you gotta get out of that friend zone, the analysis paralysis zone, and get out there and look for your first investment. Because we talked about it, it's like, when's the best time to start real estate? It's the same thing with the trees. It's like, when's the best time to plant a tree? 10 years ago or today? The same with real estate. 10 years ago or today.
And the way to avoid analysis paralysis, as you said, is to be informed, to get educated on and then you have the options, and then you can make the right decisions. And all of us went through analysis paralysis at one point of our time, but we gotta minimize that, getting informed and educated. Jose, thank you very much. Jose is doing this. He's donating his time when he comes here to share information with you, local investor, a local Omaha history or story of life. And thank you for helping many people, because I witnessed you being helping many people.
Thank you, Ricardo. I appreciate it, and like I said, I'm passionate about this. So yeah, I enjoy talking about real estate.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please check us out on social media, Castro Realty Group, in all the social media, and please pass the word.